How's it guys? Welcome back to Rex to Rides. We are still turning our hard-earned cash into unfinished projects and broken dreams. There's no such thing as a cheap paint job. This is a thing that I've been thinking a lot about. I look at this car, and I was actually just looking at it earlier. I was standing here, and it's hard to imagine this is our old 280E. But this car was actually modeled out of clay. When you look at the lines and everything. And when I got this car, and this particular one wasn't modeled out of clay, it's just a mold really that they put it in, but it had damage on both fenders and they both had to be repaired. And we took the fenders off and we took it to a guy who does our spraying. And so if you look at this, I mean, in certain lights, there's different angles, and really it's not very noticeable. He only had the fenders, he did not have the car with him, so he couldn't blend it in. He only had a fender, and he had the old fender. So we had the two with him, and he had an old fender to go on, and he had to get it to match. So when you look at the match, it is really pretty good. Remember, could not blend in, could not blend in, could not blend in. But I'm very finicky when it comes to looking at paint. And I mean, I can't even spray towards the standards I want. And this guy has done this absolutely beautifully. And when you look at it, I mean, he's laid it down. There's not a single pinhole. This is a second-hand fender. I see there is a chip there. And he's done it perfectly. It's a fantastic job. It's beautiful. And this costs 500 Rand. So divided by 20 is what? $25 per fender. $25 per fender, dirt cheap. And the same guy did the hood on the Bantam Bucky, and when I look at it, the body filler is failing on the front. The Bucky's not here at the moment, and you can see where the 80 grit's coming through, all the way through. It's white, so white's very forgiving, but it's a wreck, and we're unhappy about it. And it doesn't really come down to price. It comes down to the fact that the preparation on the body filler and everything is it's just not sufficient, right? And that kind of like, this guy's done a beautiful job here, and he's a fantastic guy, make no mistake. But you kind of think, well, but hey, it's like, it's not great, because it's coming off. And that's why I say, there's been a lot of posts on Facebook and shit and arguments, and I've taken my whole car and they sprayed it for $1,000. They've done a color change, and they didn't even bother. They just masked stuff off. So when you get here and they've done this, you can see coming through there. You can see on the radar. You can see everywhere here. Oh no, but there's all they do. They're doing this cheap paint job, which is, they've just masked it off. They haven't stripped the car down. They haven't done anything. They've masked it off. They've given a quick sand. They've gone over a base coat, clear coat. There you go. Take your car. It's taken 30 days or 20 days or 2 days or whatever, and it's out. And then the person gets it, and he doesn't look at the car and go, it looks shit, and that only costs $1,000. Or it looks fantastic, but it costs 100,000 Rand. That doesn't matter. People don't see a cheap paint job. Paint jobs don't exist. And this is what I've said. I'm busy with a hood at the back, and I'm experimenting on it, and I'm trying things, and I'm learning. But I'm not charging the guy. I'm not even going to charge him for the paint. I'm not even going to charge him for a piece of sandpaper. I'm doing it for free, because this is what I've learned. The minute there's a transaction, as soon as there is any transaction, as money is handed across, it is a professional job. You are earning from it. It is a professional job. If you're doing it for free, and this is why I say as a handyman, if someone doesn't have the budget to do something, they really need it doing, they're really good people, I like them, and I kind of think, well, let's give something back. I'll go and do it. I don't even ask them for money for materials or nothing. I do it for free, because that way you have done them a favor. They cannot complain about anything. As soon as they've paid the money, they're going to look at it and they're going to expect perfection. So I always say, when we would try to sell this car, and it's valued by Mercedes because it's actually rare. It's a W124, which is common as fuck around here, and I don't know where overseas, but here it's really common. But it's a 280E, so there were only 55,000 made. Mercedes has valued it at 100,000 rand. You can pick these up for 20,000 rand, but you cannot pick up a 280E. So we try to sell it, and guys are saying it's too expensive, and I'm explaining to them, guys, it's not too expensive. It is too much for your budget. And it's the same with paint jobs. You know, we've kind of taken a bit of a turn here with the building of the Isuzu, and we've gone really focused into doing the paint work. And you know, because I've done a few cars in my time. My first car I wanted to spray was a little mini, and it was white, and I wanted it red, and I thought I'm going to spray it, and it's no problem. So I put it in the garden. I bought 6 rattle cans off the shelf at the hardware store, thought that would be enough, and I couldn't move my finger for 3 days because I was like, 6 cans didn't do really, so it sort of like was a mottled fuck knows what. And then the next one I did was my Bantam, really hardly any surface preparation. I think I just went over it like this with sandpaper, and that was it. Sprayed it purple, didn't want to flatten, polish, nothing, just that's it, let's get in and drive. But now I've done the Isuzu, and I'm thinking, no, you know, look, I've had a spray gun in my hand for 15 years, but I've been doing things like off ducts and that, so it's commercial stuff. But so now I've been focusing more on improving my skills with that. And with that, and with all the other things that we do, welding, plumbing, electrical, everything else that we do, we go all the way, we go all in, and we're really trying to focus on getting a better product out there. But we are nowhere near doing it professionally, because I cannot do this for you professionally. Because as soon as there is a transaction, even though I spray this panel for you for 100 rand, and you're going to come and you're going to go, yeah, but you see there's scratches in it, you know, it wasn't really polished nicely, was it? I'm not really happy because, you know, I paid you to do this, and there's a scratch. So I mean, why couldn't you just sand it more? And then I turn around and I go, but dude, it was $100, you know, 100 rand, which is $10 or $15, $20, who knows. And he goes, but you know, come on, Oak, you had the paint, you had everything, why not just do it properly? And I'm like, well, that would have taken 4 days to do it properly, because there's a lot of sanding, a lot of polishing and all that. He says, yeah, but you quoted me 100 rand, and look, it's terrible. So you're not doing a cheap paint job. You are doing a paint job that is going to destroy your reputation. That's what you're doing. There is no such thing as a cheap paint job. If a guy, and I've seen guys like me, and I want to do this, you know, and then they're like, don't have a paint booth, don't have enough of this, don't have a big enough compressor, don't have a great gun, don't have that, don't have that. It does not mean that you are not allowed to spray a car because you don't have a compressor that does 15 CFM. You can't afford it. You got a little 50 litre that does 190 CFM, liters per minute, or whatever that is in CFM, 510 CFM. It doesn't mean you're not allowed to do it. But I know from 10 years of photography. Now, this video is being filmed on a Huawei P30. It's a great camera. That phone has got a fantastic camera. In fact, the best camera I've ever had on a phone. It's better than Apple. It's better than Samsung. It is probably the best camera you can get on a smartphone in the market. And I could go with my 10 years of photographic experience and do a wedding with that phone. I can give you fantastic photos and the greatest videos you would ever ask for. But when I get there and I take up my phone and I stand there, and they're going to look at me and go, what the fuck have I paid? I paid this guy 30 grand and he comes with his phone. I could be better than the next person who's charging you half the amount, using their fancy cameras, and it will take a better photo. But I believe you have that responsibility to your clients to be professional. And you arrive there with the right equipment. I would go with decent lenses, decent cameras, portable studio, everything set up, ready to do that wedding, that when you get there, the client takes one look and says, in their mind, they think, I don't need to worry about this photographer anymore. That's one thing that's checked off the list. Don't even worry about him. He's going to go ahead and produce the goods. And it's the same thing when they arrive at your workshop, if it's at home or anywhere. And you're doing it in a garage, it's properly masked off, you've got your temperature control, you've got your humidity control, you've got your filters, everything you need. And or you've got a professional spray booth, and he goes, great. If you're doing it in an amateur way, I don't know how to do this, because we've been thinking so much on how to do this portable spray booth, small spray booth. But the one thing I have come down to realize, and this is not just with spray painting, it's with anything, because handyman work, if I hang a picture and I charge you 2,500 rand to hang that picture and you're happy with it, the picture must be straight. And if I hang that picture and it costs 50 rand to hang it, it must be straight. Your client doesn't see it as an expensive job. It's either a job he can afford, and if he can't afford you, he goes elsewhere. Or it's a job he can afford and it's done. But either way, if that picture is skew, he's not going to go, well, I only paid 50 bucks, it's okay for it to be skew. He's going to go, that picture's skew, it looks shit. And it's the same in the spray job. It doesn't matter if you've charged $20 or $2,000 to spray this panel. It has to be done right. That's the bottom line. And this is why we are throwing everything at learning this trade. And we are years away from actually doing this on a commercial level, where we can say, fine, you know, let's do a bike, let's do that, let's do that. Let's get our equipment right, let's get our compressors right, let's get this right, everything right, to get this correct. And then we charge according to that. And this is the thing, just to reiterate on this video, there is no such thing as a cheap spray job. There is a spray job that will enhance your reputation and earn you money, or there is a spray job that will destroy your reputation and lose you money or cost you money. Both the same thing, really. And this is the decisions that I've found, that if you're going to do this on a professional level, you have to remember that there is no such thing as a cheap spray job.